So we are the last group, and we are here to discuss topic 14, which is Rizal's medical apprenticeship in Paris and Heidelberg. We have the reporters, Ruta Jr. and Rodinas, while the non-reporters are Patenya and Plarisan. So in here, we have the characters which our topic is mostly focused on. So we have Jose Rizal, Dr. Luis de Weckert, and Dr. Otto Becker. Their importance to this topic will be discussed as we go on through this report. So in France, Jose Rizal first arrived at the city of Marseilles. During his summer vacation, Rizal went to Paris and stayed there from June 17 to August 20, 1883 to observe how medicine was being practiced there, and then he returned back to Madrid. When Jose Rizal decided to continue his medical studies in Spain, he also made a promise to himself to help our country. After completing his education at the Central University of Madrid, Jose continued his travels and observation of European life, practices, laws, and government. Further, Jose specifically went to Paris and Berlin to practice and specialize in ophthalmology, which I will explain later on. After his studies in Madrid, he went back to Paris. Rizal in Paris, 1885 to 1886. So Rizal was 24 years old and was a full-fledged surgeon. Rizal was 24 years old when he arrived in Paris. He stayed in this romantic city for 4 months. He became an apprentice in the clinic of Dr. Luis de Weckert. He is the leading French ophthalmologist during the period. Dr. Luis de Weckert, the leading authority among the oculists of France, found Rizal such a competent student and admired him so much that he took him as his clinical assistant. This was exactly what Rizal most desired, for he was getting the best preparation in Europe to extract the cataracts from his mother's eyes. For those who do not know, a cataract is an eye element in which your eye's natural lens becomes cloudy. Proteins in your lens break down and cause things to look blurry. Most cataracts develop when aging or injury changes the tissue that makes up the eye's lens. If left untreated, this can cause blindness. This made Rizal worry for his mother's condition. He migrated into Paris by his intention to specialize in ophthalmology. Rizal worked as an assistant and apprentice at the eye clinic of Dr. Luis de Weckert for 4 months. Rizal learned the following from Dr. de Weckert: actual performance of eye operation, recent studies on the ailment of the eyes, and various techniques of eye operation.
Good day, Miss. I'm Cadet Rota and I'm the second reporter of this group. The Heidelberg was one of the best places that Rizal visited during his 1.5-year sojourn in Germany, so much so that barely 2 days after his arrival here, he immediately fell in love with the historic and romantic city, and in the month of July 14, he admitted as a member of the Chess Club Germany, and Jose Rizal became popular to the student because of his talent, the drinking spree. The next slide is Jose Rizal decided to transfer to the another boarding house because he didn't have enough money until the ring that his sister gave, and another reason is to go near in the school university, and he liked the school because of good teaching, and he perfect the techniques of diagnosing eye ailments under the Dr. Luis de Weckert. The next slide is Jose Rizal wrote a letter to his sister Maria Antoinette, and his letter he described the country are full of obedience because his observation and interacting people in Germany, and in German student he see and observed that the student in German are affectionate, respectful, and modest, and not boastful. And Rizal was popular to those students because of his talent, the drinking spree, and to the German woman, Jose amazed and expressed his high regards and admiration to the German woman. And he wrote that German woman is serious, studious, and diligent, and they do not pay much attention to their clothes nor to jewels. And the next slide, Jose Rizal was also fortunate to have his apprenticeship in the University of Hospital because the University of Heidelberg celebrated its 5th centenary, but saddened at the same time because he was about to leave the city, which he had come to love, and this country teach him a lot of knowledge and experience, and the people's hospitality that he won't forget. And the next slide, it's all about the poem of Jose Rizal. And Jose Rizal wrote a poem. The title is A Los Flores de Heidelberg, in which the flower become a symbol of the motherland or the Philippines, and the poem speaks of his loyalty to his native land, and he writes to express his liking in Germany while he was studying there. And the poem was his way of telling the Filipinos that his loyalty was still in the Philippines, and he made the poem because of his mode of homesickness. In the last slide, Jose Rizal wrote a letter to the Professor Ferdinand Blumentritt, a director of Ateneo Litmerites in Austria. And Jose Rizal heard that into the pastor that Professor Blumentritt is an ethnologist and interested to the Philippines. And the professor received the letter and book that Jose Rizal wrote, and he was deeply amazed and impressed, and immediately answered the letter and back to Jose Rizal, and they become good friends and meet once at the cafe. Coincidentally, is itself located at the old train station in 1887 in Germany.